Hey YouTube, it's ShryphonX here. Today we're going to be talking about One Piece Chapter 1153. Like and subscribe for more content. Loki's Demon Birth. A new perspective on devil fruits. One Piece Chapter 1153, full spoilers. Loki's birth was marked by tragedy, with fate seemingly conspiring against him at every turn. However, what if he was not just a human, but a reborn demon? Perhaps he was even the Hellfire Serpent of Elbaf myth, not the Sun God. In the previous One Piece chapter, we delved into Shanks' connections to the Holy Knights and began the Elbaf flashback with Harold's dark past. Chapter 1153, titled The Birth of Loki, spans 17 pages. We continue with the Yamato cover story, featuring Volume 37 of the Oni Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage. Yamato and Kikunajo embrace at Ringo, watched by the Yakuza boss Ocho. Kiku has ascended to the position of daimyo of Ringo, completing the 5 daimyos revealed in the cover story since Volume 10. These daimyos include Denjiro of Kibi, former Zote Duke Inuarashi of Kuri, Reizo of Udon, and Kawamatsu of Hakamai, with Kiku now joining the ranks. Could Kiku, a transgender woman, be the first female daimyo of a region? It's an intriguing possibility, especially considering the LGBT representation in the series. Harold's first love. The chapter begins with a flashback of Harold's childhood, where he was accompanied by Dory and Bragi. Harold was significantly stronger and larger than his companions, leading to a spoiled upbringing. During a moment of carelessness, Harold flicked a booger, destroying another boat. In a human town, a female giant named Ida was captured and used as a circus show attraction. She stands out from most girls' Oda draws, with freckles on her face, thick lips, a seeming lack of eyebrows, and a ponytail. Despite these differences, she remains a fairly pretty woman. The panel depicts a mix of reactions, from a woman fleeing to a couple dancing, while Ida attempts to scare them away from her cage. Harold, observing them through a telescope, destroys the town and frees Ida off-screen. However, upon returning the rescued giantess, Harold receives a slap from Ida, much to his men's surprise. Ida explains that the humans who captured her actually saved her when she was shipwrecked and worked for them willingly as a token of gratitude. Ida reminds Harold that he is no better than anyone else simply because he was born strong. Harold returns to the town and rebuilds it with Ida, which the humans thank the giants for. Ida also forces Harold to apologize and bow his head to the king. After a night of revelry with the kingdom, Harold embarks on a journey to meet a tribe. Unlike the ending of the previous chapter, Harold doesn't rampage. Instead, he offers them a giant shark for them to feast on. This newfound interest in other human cultures and his desire to become a better person stem from Ida's teachings. Ida instilled in Harold the importance of not letting might make right, as this could lead to misunderstandings. Thanks to Ida, not only did Harold rectify his actions with the town he destroyed, but he also transformed for the better. He became more cheerful, but not at the expense of others. Upon returning home to Elbaf, the king announces his intention to open the country up and make Elbaf more pacifistic, much to the surprise of the elders, including Gerald and Jorel, the former captains of the giant warrior pirates. Interestingly, there are 4 other elders who remain hidden in the shadows. Could they be the inhabitants of the first level, the celestial or heaven world? Or are they also residents of the sun world, and something made the upper level uninhabitable? These elders disapprove of Harold's intention to marry Ida. While Ida resided in a village nestled in the sun world, Harold embarked on a journey to open the country's doors to other nations, including the Ryugu Kingdom located on Fishman Island. Years later, Ida gave birth to Hadron, but Harold was arranged by the wise elders to marry Estrida, the daughter of a prominent giant from Alcohol Village in the northern region of Elbaf. Estrida was an exceptionally beautiful giant woman who wore dancer's attire, reminiscent of Nami and Vivi in the Arabasta arc. Estrida was deeply devoted to Di Feng, which was likely the one-piece version of feng shui. She meticulously closed or opened windows in specific rooms and rearranged the furniture in the castle to align with her beliefs. Estrida believed that Di Feng had destined her to be loved and cherished by the king of Elbaf. She urged him to forget Ida, who resided in the east, and their son Hadrudin. During her presentation to Harold, Estrida also gifted him the eight-legged horse Sleipnir. For those familiar with Norse mythology, Sleipnir was Loki's child and was transformed into Odin's steed. Sometime later, while Harold was away on a voyage, Estrida gave birth to Loki, a baby with demonic slit eyes similar to Sauron. This revelation caused Estrida to panic and decide to cast Loki into the underworld. She also mentioned the prophecy that this boy was destined to kill his own father, Harold. The prophecy and superstitions surrounding Loki's demonic features, therefore, originated from Di Feng. Loki's unusual eyes could be a result of an event or perhaps Emu's theory in Chapter 1150, Domi Reversi, that the original or best form of beings is that of a demon. The demonic giants resemble the ancient giants, but with wings and tails, suggesting a connection to Harold's ancient giant blood and demons, potentially resulting in a giant with demonic eyes. We've mentioned Sleipnir in Chapter 1138. The Harley introduced us to the Hellfire Serpent, which some believe is either the Red Line or another primordial demon, possibly based on the Midgard or World Serpent Jormungandr. Loki might have received an extract from a devil fruit at some point, but we don't know of any characters who do that. Therefore, it's more likely that Loki has a genetic condition with no direct story significance beyond a lesson about not judging appearances and child trauma, or he possesses special powers like pudding or a connection to the demon race. Considering Kaido's backstory and his disappointing replication of the ancient giants through the numbers, the link between them is becoming stronger. Some also theorize that Loki is not the only one with these eyes. Who else in the One Piece constantly conceals their eyes and embodies evil? Don Quixote da Flamingo. Both men are chained and eagerly await the end of the current world. However, it seems Loki might break this stigma by choosing to save Elbaf despite being demonized by them. The true demon lies not in an idealized form of power, but in the wickedness inherent in the human heart. In the Curse of Loki, Estrida panicked and decided to throw Loki down to the underworld. She then ordered her servants to inform King Harold that the baby had died. In the final double page of the chapter, we witness baby Loki crying as he crawls up from the bottom of the treasure tree at him. He had been injured in a fight against some of the beasts from the underworld. The chapter concludes with Harold lamenting the separation of other countries and their lack of freedom due to the interference of the world government. This suggests that Harold was already aware of the ugly truth about the situation. Ida dotes on her child Hadrudin, who refuses to associate with a brother who is not his biological father. Ida would have been a much better mother for Loki. Estrida's introduction felt suffocating, while Ida is portrayed as a more modest woman. However, her kind heart is clearly conveyed through her art, which is what Harold appreciated the most. The narrator concludes the chapter by stating that every misfortune that befalls Elba from that moment on is now attributed to Loki's curse. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more content. ShryphonX out.